Keeping Montserrat alive.
This is 95.5,
88.3 FM.
ZJB Radio.
It's Vita Wade here, and the Blue Zone is back on Radio ZJB with a new series called Money Moves. On Money Moves, we start from the simple idea that money moves progress and trust moves money. So every other Monday from 11 to 12 noon, we'll dive into what's happening in fisheries, tourism, ocean science, tech, and the wider blue economy. And we'll ask, what does it really mean for us here in Montserrat? And how do we build the kind of trust and stewardship that leads to money that moves us towards more joy, happiness, restoration, and prosperity? I'm not coming with all the answers. I simply don't have all the answers. But what I will bring with me is deeper questions. I'll bring my toolkit. I'll bring special guests so we can figure it out together. So join me, Vita Wade, on the Blue Zone, Money Moves, every Monday from 11 to 12 noon on Radio ZJB. Talk to you soon. Good morning, Montserrat. Good morning to all of our listeners at home and abroad, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I just want to say good morning and big up, hi. And I'm here in the studio for the return of the Blue Zone. I've got a very special guest with me today. It's my dad, Arthur Brooks Mead. But before we start, and before I have a quick chat with him on the program, I just wanted to say a big condolences from my heart to Roger Wade and his family in the UK. I heard about the sudden death of his wife, and I just want to say condolences from all of us in Happy Hill. So, first of all, you would be familiar with the Blue Zone, I think it was 2021 when I started this program. And I just wanted to sort of refresh your mind a little bit about what this is all about. This is a new series, and we're calling it the Money Moves. So today we are asking ourselves, and throughout this whole series, we're asking ourselves, how can Montserrat's ocean help us live well without harming our people or our sea? So since 1995, Sophia Hills volcano has dumped close to 1 cubic kilometers of ash, rock, and debris into our environment. And so you imagine Blake's football field, and imagine you're filling that with ash and then piling it high by maybe 100 stories or so. And imagine that wash into the ocean. And that has been our reality. That's where a lot of sediment has gone into cover our reefs. It has displaced our fish, affected our fisheries. Even our sea turtles are trying to survive out there in these changing circumstances, as well as a changing climate. And so that's the reality that we're living in, and it's why we need to talk seriously about the ocean economy. And it's funny because when we talk ocean economy, just this last summer, I was asking a young person, how did she interpret the ocean economy? And she said to me, I can't even remember her name now, but she said to me something really fantastic. She said, it's how we use the ocean without abusing it. And that's so true. So yeah. We're talking seriously. We're talking seriously about the ocean economy, fisheries, tourism, transport, ocean science, and creative work, and who actually benefits. So if you're watching on Facebook, then please comment, share this post. It'll be good to hear and see how you are interacting with this conversation. And please feel free to share whatever is on your mind as well here as well. I couldn't think of a better person, a better guest, though, than today, my dad, who is making us all very proud here at Montserrat and in our family. And he's receiving a National Order of Merit for his contribution to community, environment, and tourism. And so I just want to welcome my dad to the Blue Zone.
Thank you, Vita, for having me. I'm proud to be with you. I just want to say here that it's nice to have father and daughter. Nothing can be better. So yes, thanks for having me, Vita. And I hope that what is said here, somebody will gain something from it, or somebody would comment and say what we are saying makes a lot of sense.
Well, it's just my pleasure to have you here. And, I remember when I first asked you to come and join the show, you said you didn't really have time. You're too busy with all your various projects. And that I said, well, you can just come and talk for 15 minutes. And he was like, well, 15 minutes not enough for me. You have to give me the whole show. So I realized that when you and I get together, Daddy, we have a lot to say. And that's part of the reason why I thought, even in my intro, I have to make some notes. Because if I don't make some notes, I may end up spending this whole hour all over the place.
Absolutely.
But in good places as well. So, one of the things that comes to my mind in even having you here and being on Montserrat is the fact that Montserrat has such an aging population. We have elders, people who have done phenomenal work in our community. And one of the things that I'm settling myself with is spending time with our elders, really learning from people, trying to document and capture knowledge from folks who have been there, done that, and also want to see a better, brighter, and even bluer Montserrat. So that being said, I want us to kind of think about you and your story, because that's an incredible story in itself, and one that you and I haven't even sat to explore very much. But I'm wondering, when you were young, Arthur, in your childhood, what's the earliest memory you've had for caring for the environment? What do you think has sort of nurtured this spirit? Who taught you that? Was it something that was even taught?
Well, yes, Vita, I may say that, and older folks like me would know that you grew up in an environment where you have to take care of your yard, you have to clean it, you have to make sure that it's clean. That time you have to pick like bush and what they call broom and sweep. And not only that, you're going to school, and it depends on your class. One afternoon, your class is responsible of cleaning the yard. It's not happening now, but that in itself make you feel that you just have to keep your environment clean. So from you growing up, I had that responsibility that we have to just keep our environment clean. And I even remember where the folks from the environment division would come around and look around your property, look around your house. If you have old tint, old tires, they would make you move them from creating the nest for mosquitoes and rats and so on. And that, I think that was good. I don't know very much of that is happening now. But believe you me, I really have a passion for this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful island of ours.
I know you're doing it so inspirational. But when was there a moment, we spoke briefly about your experience in the volcano and the eruptions, and many people who know you know that you were one of those people that was affected severely in the 1997 volcanic blast. And I'm wondering if you can take us back to a moment when you realized that you felt this connection of carrying a responsibility for and a connection, a genuine heartfelt connection to the island, and how that sort of connected right back to your purpose of being Monstrasian even.
Yeah, well, first of all, Vita, I want to say here that cleaning and caring for the environment is something that I have a passion for. And of course, when we had the volcanic eruption, it was all about cleaning. I went at my place at Dyers and, having done a survey, checking for cracks in the house and so on, there's a guy, Joel Osborne, he was looking around and walking in the ash, walking in the house. I feel it was not nice for him to leave all that dust in the house. So I was cleaning. Again, it's by cleaning and making sure that around me was clean and that kind of thing. But of course, I got trapped, and God is good, in the volcanic eruption, where I got some burns and so on. And because of that, I had to fly out to Guadeloupe because we don't have a burn hospital here. So I went there where I could be treated. And Vita, I spent some time there getting very emotional. Sometimes, you're kind of taking a rest, you fall asleep, then you jump, the balcony is covering you. You just feel that kind of feeling that you're covered by volcanic ash. And, having been there in the hospital, I always want to see what Guadeloupe looked like because we can see it in the distance on the north end of Montserrat. And having been there, I wanted to go around and have a look and do tours and whatever, but the doctor said, you couldn't do that, Mr. Mead, except you become an outdoor patient. Montrealans are nice, but people are nice too. I remember some folks came from, they were living in Guadeloupe, but they're from Dominica, so they speak Creole French, but they also speak English, which in Guadeloupe is French, and if you don't understand French, I remember that one of the nurses said to me, Mr. Mead, you have to learn our language. We don't care about your English. You have to learn our language. So I started picking up bonjour, bonjour, good morning, good afternoon, and that kind of thing. But back to the story, I went and some people took me in, and Vita, what was so nice of them, they came out to their bed, went on the floor to sleep, and gave me their bed. And I think that was just great, So while I was in the hospital, they were giving me eggs and white potato and that kind of things. But when I went there, as an outdoor patient, I saw my breadfruit and my saltfish, that kind of thing. So having said that, I went on a little tour. And when I saw what Guadeloupe looked like, I said, why? My, Montreal can look like this too, What I realized they were doing, they were cleaning up all the old stones at the roadside, beautify it. Peter, when I see it, it looked like I'm going to the Garden of Eden. It was so nice, the big palm trees, the beautiful flowers, and it's well kept. I said that Montserrat can be like this too. So I came home, and I was encouraged to stay in Guadeloupe, but as the morning man, Uncle Basil always said he'd rather be no place else than Montserrat, and I share that thought as well. I didn't want to be in Guadeloupe. I wanted to be back in Montserrat.
Well, what fascinates me about what you just said is the fact that in this time of great turmoil, personal turmoil, complete uncertainty about what's happening in the island, scary. I remember the day you came back to Salem and I saw you, never seen you scared, and you were shaking like a leaf. You were covered white in ash, and your feet.
Black.
But it was crazy. It was full of soot almost, and your feet were really swollen. And I saw you for the first time, in your eyes terrified. And to think that you had gone through that journey and still find time to sort of explore and appreciate the beauty of another place, and to figure out, well, how does that impact who you are and the man you will return back to Montserrat to be. And so, one of the things I often say to you, and I don't know if you remember it, but I'm hoping people will listen, I believe that environmental pride is national pride. National pride is environmental pride. And I'm thinking that beyond the flags and the anthems, things like that, where do you see us, connecting to national pride and environmental pride? And where do you see that we're slipping, if at all?
Good question, Vita. I always been saying this. If you will play back, you know that I always believe that we need to have that change of mindset and have what we call this national pride. It can only be done if you're serious and if you say you love this beautiful island. I mean, you go around and people say, boy, I love Montserrat, I'd rather be in a place on Montserrat. When you think about the cold areas of this world, People are complaining about the state. They're complaining about Canada. They're complaining about England. It's so cold there, Vita. We are blessed. We are blessed to be living in this little part.
You're
of the
right.
earth.
And I just want to remind people that I didn't say this in the promotion and when we started, but you can call in. The lines will be open 491-7227 or 491-9067. If you're calling from overseas, it's 1-664-491-7227, 1-664-491-9064, or you can text 1-664-496-2885. So, Daddy, moving on, I just wanted to say that what I observe too, is that when we go around to different islands, I mean, Guadeloupe may be a exception, European, French, and so sort of do things with a certain finesse. But when you even go to neighboring islands closer to us, I've been Trinidad, I've been to Antigua and Barbuda, and probably with the Antigua and Barbuda, the challenge has been that they rely so much on water, purchased water, and plastic bottles that you do get a lot of trash. And I don't feel like in the same way they have nurtured the same sorts of ambassadors for the environment, and that has caused a challenge in terms of how, as a community, that's embedded caring for the environment. And one of the things I always want to say to you, even though you tend to say to me, oh, you don't deal with the sea, you're not really coming swimming or anything like this. But land and ocean are so interconnected. And one of the biggest challenges we have in terms of how we utilize our ocean space for prosperity is marine pollution. So climate is a big thing, the warming climate and all the impacts to do with that. But there's also marine pollution. And I'm wondering, from where you sit, the kind of person I know you are, though our standards are kept high, and I've even heard our Premier, Ruben T. Meade, say, Montserrat standards are high, but when it comes to the ocean economy, he wants to keep it that high and maintain it. And in order to do so, we need people. We need people who are activated and willing to do that. And I'm just wondering, when you go to a place and you pick up rubbish without anybody seeing you, it's not like you're doing it for creds, for likes or followers, but sometimes you do it just because you see it needing to be done. What goes through your mind? What makes you do that when even nobody is watching and there's
Okay.
nothing in it for you?
Okay, Vita, we have, let's say that we have the green, the blue, sorry, not the green. The green will come, but you have the blue, which is the ocean. You have the green, and you also want to keep it clean. So what bothers me is because I have work to do on the beaches, and when we have heavy rain, you can see the impact that you have on the shoreline. Of course, what goes up must come down. So sometimes I'm driving, especially when it's dry, Vita, and you see the amount of garbage, especially plastic bottles, beer bottles, Guinness bottle, and those kind of things. You say, well, how can I pass and leave this? And some moments that sticks with me, since I'm more like the watchdog of the environment, is one time I was supposed to be doing a tour. There was a boat there, but I was asked to pick up some folks and give them a tour. And I wake up the morning, and when you're going up around Fogarty, I look on the side, and it was dry then. And I saw a lot of empty bottles and tins, Coke tins and whatever. So I was I was at Lookout at that time. I wake up early one morning, and I saw Scarrett Boy. And I need to talk about it. And he's not that well, like agile like us.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me where I'm going. I'm saying I'm going to pick up a few garbage, and he said I'm coming with you.
Mm-hmm.
Vito, Scarrett was on his knees, pulling the bottles, packing them together, and I'm picking them up. And I'm saying, look at Skerrit, who is not walking and agile like us, and there with me. So that sticks in my heart. The other thing I remember too is that Governor Abbott, whenever I'm having my Labor Day cleanup, I always like to raise funds so that I can have refreshment. I always believe that when somebody come out 6 o'clock in the morning and they're not going to finish until 9 o'clock, they want something. And so I would go around, and I remember Governor Abbott gave me a donation and said to me, Mr. Meade, I'll be with you. And I remember Governor Abbott and the wife came at Little Bay here and was doing some cleaning with me. That's proud moments that I can remember. And there's a lot of memories that I have. Even when I'm cleaning, I see people like Zion, that young.
Oh, that's Priska and Freddie's daughter.
That's right. And Hyacinth's daughter. I can't remember her name now. That's Hyacinth. If she's listening, she will know who I'm talking about. And I think I saw Mr. Kelsey's son as well.
Joshua Kelsey.
Joshua there. Those little young folks there. And I'm saying that Montreal has a future because of these people would gravitate to that kind of passion I have. We would have a beautiful Montreal. And I'm saying that even when one morning it was supposed to be on Antigua Live, and I was listening, I wanted to see what my daughter is saying and how she's handling herself. And I know you're very good at that, so that didn't bother me, but I just wanted to be witnessing and hearing what you had to say. And the Premier of Antigua, Mr. Gaston Brown, he was on before you. And that was another proud moment. You know what I heard Mr. Brown say? Mr. Brown said, if you want to see a little clean place, a little clean island, go over next door to Montreal. Peter, I felt so proud. I felt so proud that even Mr. Brown visit Montreal and look at Montreal and see that Montreal is so beautiful. And then, I heard him say that he's going to step up. Step up by doing what? Start putting penalty on people in Antigua who just throwing garbage all over the place.
Yeah.
So, I felt so good about it.
Yeah.
So I think better if we are taking care of our land space, we are taking some of the pressure off the sea space.
Correct, yeah.
And of course, this means a lot to us.
Yeah.
The ocean means a lot to us. There's so many benefits that you would know more than me, but in my little space that I have, I know a lot of people go there to swim. A lot of people go there to exercise. You catch your fish. The boats moving around with the containers, bringing things here and there. So it has a lot to do with us.
Yeah.
And of course, even to breathe.
Every other breath is coming from the ocean. When I was going to school, I used to say the Amazon and the rainforest used to be the biggest contributor to the air that we breathe. But it's actually the ocean is the biggest. Every other breath is coming from the ocean.
So, and may I say here too, I must talk a little about Scriber Daily. Because, we are close to. And I realized that he would have been doing a lot of tours. When St. Patrick's come around, you'll have, or you're going on Scriber tour and whatever. So I saw him one day and I said, Scriber, how you take care of the forest? Do people go up there and throw things out? He said, no, man, they can't do that. They have their bag, and if they have a drink, they have to throw it in there. They cannot leave anything up there. And when you go through the forest, Vita, you feel so calm.
Oh, yes.
Because that nice breeze is blowing through, you're smelling all those different trees with their fragrance, and so it's so beautiful. But I think that even though I'm saying that Montreal could be a lot better, we are much better than many of the islands around here. But we can do a lot more, Vita.
No, you're so right. There's so much to unpack in what you just said, but it was all coming from the place of what makes you still do this. And what I'm hearing from you, Daddy, is that there is a sense of pride. You do see the connection between national pride and environmental pride. There's also this sense of purpose that has come through probably from that experience of the volcanoes. Like, what am I doing with my life? How can I make a better contribution? How can I be a better citizen and support to Montserrat? I'm also hearing from you trust, the trust that you have in your community, in your people, that people actually want to do good, that people also want to care, and they have shown you that. But more than that, people have trusted you, right? So the fact that Skirt Boy could just hear say that you're going to do something like a cleanup and say, I'm not fully mobile and I am gonna still be there and I'm gonna show up, that young people and children and their parents will come out and show up behind you, shows that there is a degree of trust. And that also is supporting and motivating you to keep going, even when nobody is looking. And I think that is just such an interesting dynamic about who we are as Montserratians as well. And very interesting in terms of what it really takes for us to take better care of our oceans, our environment, because those two things are so linked. And you may be hearing a lot about the Blue Belt, you may be hearing more about the ocean economy going forward. And it's all coming back down to jobs, opportunities. How do we progress Montserrat's economy? How do we diversify the economy? And how do we make sure that people are going to be good, well off, prosperous in that process? Not just healthy, but that we can be healthy and have some money as well. That somebody told me this morning, is ZJB, that they wanted to have. And so, interestingly, you touched on tourism, and tourism is one of the reasons why you're also getting this national award. Because I remember I have pictures at home that I laugh at because I remember the Bobby socks, and that we all just like Monstrations. You would know about the Bobby socks. There was that kind of Bobby socks era, and I saw you looking sharp as anything in the Sophia Hills with a tour, and it was interesting to see what the Sophia Hills looked like at that time. My memories are vague, but to have these pictures are great. And I'm just wondering, like, when you look at tourism now, what do you see that worries you? And what do you see that gives you hope? Because it's not now you're in the game, you've been in this from a long time.
Well, Vita, one of the things that you have to make sure that you do when you're a tour guide or you're dealing with tourists, you have to sell your little island. You have to. And of course, you must be able to speak well. And you must know the island, of course. And so when you go out, you also must get the tourists to know that there's no safer place than Montserrat. And so you want them to come here. And because of that, Vita, so many people would have returned. I remember that because of my knowledge and being able to rapport with our tourists, sometimes they both come down here and you'd find that some of the tourists come out and asking, where is Arthur? Where is Arthur? I want to go with Arthur. I want to go with Arthur. That kind of thing. But you have to sell your island, a whole lot. And I remember even one time I had to do a tour from Tropical Mansion, and this sticks in my mind as well, Vita, and I have to talk about it. There was a young lady, had a suite, and she took the paper off, and I recognized that she wrapped it up in her hand and put it in her bag. And I said to her, I was just playing the devil advocate. I said to her, why are you doing this? She said, no, I can't do this. Montserrat is so beautiful, I can't be littering. So these are some of the things that you'd have to get home to people. That Montserrat is clean, and not only clean, the tranquility, your crime is very, very low. You can lose a phone and come at Radio Montserrat and pick it up. You can lose your purse and come at Radio Montserrat to go to the police station and pick it up. You can leave your car key in your vehicle and still go and meet it there tomorrow morning. I remember one time I was at Lookout and I forget the key in the door, and I went to Salem. And the morning when I went there, the key was still in the door. Where on earth you find that these little things happen. So we have a lot to offer. I was hearing my godson, John, saying on the radio that we are too negative sometimes about Montserrat, but there's a lot of positive Vita. I don't know if I'm straying away from your talk, but believe you me, he was saying that we have a lot to offer, and I really have to say that is true. We have a lot to offer, Vita. We you know, you can walk on the street anytime. You can get a ride from anybody, and they're not running away with you. They're not robbing you. That kind of thing. I pray to God that Montserrat keep this way, and that's why I love it. And I keep saying, like Uncle Baz would say, I'd rather be no place else than Montserrat. Sometimes I go down on the beach, kind of late. Sometimes he'll just say, Arthur, you're not scared? I never have a scary moment because I don't think that anybody going to down there to hold me up and shot me and rob me and kill me. That never passed my mind. Sometimes I see strange faces and I'm saying, Sometimes I feel like calling the police station. I'm saying I see somebody that I've never seen. But, you know, you have all kind of people coming here. And they come here because they love here. And they come here because they want to live here with us. But I guess, you know, that they have to recognize that they have to, when they go to Rome, they must do what the Romans do. Keep our little place clean, be friendly, don't cause crime and hurt to other people and that kind of thing. Because, I mean, we have it. We have it to offer, yes. Antigua have a lot of tourist boats coming in. When you go, like you see 4 and 5 in the harbor, we don't have that. But we have what they don't have. And it's that tranquility, that cleanliness, and that love for each other. You know, so that's a lot.
So
that's
true.
a lot to offer.
So true. And thanks for sharing that. And so well and so diplomatically. The other thing is, you know, probably the biggest threat that our oceans and our environment faces right now is climate change. It's our warming temperatures. It's our warming temperatures of the planet and all the things that come along with that. And I think when I speak about climate change, there is the temperature difference. Like we can feel sometimes the seasons are a little bit changeable in terms of when the wet season and dry season comes in. You hear about, the other day I was speaking to my uncle in the Cayman Islands, and he was in a day in his sweater. There's a cold spell coming down. He said he hadn't felt that for years. So things like that will happen. I remember I was in Antigua at one point a year or so ago, and there was like this really big water spout that came in close to one of the coasts. Like, I'd never seen a water spout so close to land before. At the same time, I was in this little cottage in English Harbor, and there was an earthquake, and I felt the whole building was going to collapse. In the same areas I was driving through, there was huge sargassum inundations, and there was also a flash flood that happened in St. John's and in Jolly Harbor. And I recognized in that moment that's what climate change really is. It's about several risks and changes happening in the environment that could happen at once. And what does it mean for us to react and to work around it? And I'm saying that to get to the point of, throughout your time looking at even our coastlines, I'm interested because I know you're not a man that goes swimming. No. He only watches my videos of.
And I enjoy them.
He watch my videos for hours as if it's National Geographic, but you won't really step foot in the water. But the coastline also matters. What we can also see changes through our coastlines. And I'm wondering, what have you observed over the years changing through our coastlines? Is there anything that stands out to you?
Well, of course, the sarcasm as well, I would see a lot of them, you know, and I have to be smart in dealing with it because they can be very disgusting to move. I think in Antigua, they would go and skim the ocean and dump it in a truck and move it. But here, you'd have to clean it. So what I normally do, I would allow it to dry because when it dries, it's easier to move. But in my early days coming up, I never know what this thing is. I remember the first time I saw it in Lookout area there. What do you call that beach down there again?
Margarita Bay.
Margarita Bay. I called and thought it was oil spill because I see that thing just moving on the ocean, not realizing is the seaweed. And so not only the seaweed, I realized that around the edges of the beach where you have coconut trees, they're dying out. That is saying something, you know. And because I'm talking about that, we have some expatriates here that we'd love to have, and we're happy that they're here. Some of them, except for medical purposes, they're going to be here. And of course, they would have their fun. I noticed at some point in time, they would take their wood on the beach and burn it and have their fun as well. But what I'm not happy with is that what left at the fire burn, they leave it right on the beach. Now, I don't know if where they're coming from, they can do that. And Vita, I'm saying they need to have their fun. But if you make the beach clean and nice and you burn, just take them up. Take them up, take a bag, take a bucket, take it up. Although that the sea would kind of ride and take it in the ocean, where you don't need to do that. So I'm saying again, I noticed that is happening. And of course, I think they should desist from doing that. If they're going to have their fire burn, they're going to burn clean when you're finished. So the thing though, I've noticed, because down by Dwayne area, they have seen coconut tree just die out at Isles Bay. I've noticed that too. And it seems like it's happening around the coastline. Maybe you can say what is causing that, or you'd have to probably do a research. But I think that's part of climate change as well. So I noticed that is happening quite a bit on the beach.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you feel that there's been changes in people's behaviors, perhaps at the ocean and the beach, seaside, some of which may be a concern. And that was interesting. Also, you mentioning the inundation of Sargassum, which is a big conversation right now, because Sargassum could be either a blessing or a huge challenge. I'm of the mindset that we can always look to innovate around these things, but with innovation comes money, it comes budget, it comes policy space, and so on and so forth. So, but to finally finish this section before we take a break is just your legacy. So you're now going to be honored with a national award for environment and tourism contribution. This is happening on March 18th, I think. I need to get the date right because I'm going to be there, front and center, of course, to celebrate you.
You
and
have to be there,
congratulations with others. And so what do you feel like is going to be a legacy? What do you want your legacy to be? If it's even not even about money, but about mindset, the mindset of generations to come.
Well, and honestly, Peter, my legacy is that if I'm not there, somebody must say, if Arthur was here, this wouldn't have happened. And this is something that I'm keeping up because of what Arthur was doing. I always think that I would like somebody to continue to be a watchman. I know the late Annie Dyer, he used to call me the environment watchdog. I'd rather they call me the environment lion. Watch lion. Because, you know, I really, really, really love to see this little beautiful island, really clean, Vita. The ocean will be always there, and we have a good God of heaven that sometime is in the drought, but you'll find some rain come sometime even to keep the heat down and keep the dust down. So that would always happen. But what is happening is that our mindset needs to change. Why are we going to be buying a beer and drink it and just throw the bottle on the roadside? Why are we going to get some food and eat it, and when you finish, you throw the container outside? You know, these are things that need to change, and the government can have what we call litter warden, but that's spending money. And if I'm saying things, Vita, I need to realize that there must be a solution. And I think one of the solutions that can happen here is that you can charge a levy on these things, or you can make those folks that bring in beers and guineas and so take the bottles back. This is another job creation because people are going to pick them up and carry them in and raise funds. The other thing I see, because I was in the States at some point in time, and I went to a little rally, a little party, and I came out with a juice. I don't drink alcohol, as you know. And there was 2 cabs on the road in the States. and they shout at me, "Get back in with that." I had the glass out in my hand. So it appeared to me that you are not allowed to walk on the street with beer bottle, juice bottle, Guinness bottle. That they don't allow that, and that can happen here easily. If they decide in Lechco that you must not be on the road with bottles and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Peter,
so,
when we had the pandemic, it took a day or two before they lock you up. And they were doing the power safety. As a matter of fact, I remember going to the supermarket, your name start with what letter. You have a day that you go,
Yes, I
and you
know.
have to be in before 6 o'clock. It didn't take time to do that. Are we going to take a lot of time to tell people not to be walking with these things on the street, not to be drinking, not to be driving with your vehicle, and have your hand on the door and you're bearing your hand and that kind of thing can easily stop. And that will prevent a lot of the nonsense we're having.
well, thank you, Daddy. Thank you so much for being my guest. Don't leave yet. We're not finished, but we are going to take a break right now. And I guess what I'm trying to say, what I'm hearing from you in terms of the legacy as we round up this session or this segment is protect the environment as if your life depended on it, because our livelihood sure does. So on that, I just want to take a break. Tide is high.